Before a storm breaks, the world becomes unnaturally still. Earth stops singing. The wind holds its breath. In the same way, before a toxic person leaves you broken, they often become quiet, not in peace, but in preparation. This is the deceptive calm before the emotional storm they are about to unleash. In the Shaolin teachings, we are reminded that silence is not always peace. Sometimes, silence is a mask. Toxic people begin to pull away, not to protect you or themselves, but to create confusion and distance. They become less available, but not absent enough to be obvious. This is a deliberate unbalancing of your inner peace. This period is often filled with self-doubt. You begin questioning, did I do something wrong? Have I changed? But understand this confusion is not your creation. It is carefully planted. And when the mind is unsettled, it is easier to manipulate. This is the preparation they make before their final act. So we must learn to recognize stillness. Not all silence is sacred. In the monastery, we train not only in stillness, but also in awareness within that stillness. Know when peace is present and when it is only pretending to be. A toxic person does not retreat all at once. They withdraw in waves gentle enough that you won't notice until the shore is far behind you. At first, they are less responsive, then less present. Eventually, their absence becomes louder than their words ever were. In this withdrawal, you'll find they stop listening. Not completely, but meaningfully. They still hear your words, but no longer carry them in their heart. They respond out of duty, not care. This is not communication, it is noise. And slowly, your voice begins to feel smaller. Just as the martial artist senses the slightest shift in his opponent's balance, we too must become sensitive to energy. When someone's heart is no longer in the conversation, you must feel it, not hear it. In the monastery, we train to listen with the heart, not the ears. The energy does not lie. So understand, their withdrawal is not confusion. It is a signal. It is telling you, I have already left, but I have not yet told you. And in this space of silence, many fall, but you must not. Instead, rise into awareness. When toxic people begin to prepare for their exit, they start planting seeds of blame, slowly, subtly. They rewrite the story so that when they finally leave, the fault no longer lies with them. It lies with you. This manipulation is a form of emotional warfare. You will hear phrases like "you've changed" or "you don't support me anymore." But if you observe deeply, these words are not reflections, they are projections. They speak of their own intentions, but wear the mask of concern. In the Tao, we learn that what you say of others reveals more of yourself. The toxic person speaks of your inadequacy, but it is their guilt trying to find a new home inside your mind. Be careful. This is the moment you are most vulnerable to illusion. So do not argue, do not plead. Instead, observe. When blame enters the space, stay rooted like the Shaolin tree, still, silent, and fully awake. Let their words pass like wind. Truth does not require defense. It only requires presence. There is a moment when warmth disappears, not because of something you did, but because their intentions have changed. What was once kindness becomes calculation. What was once care becomes cold indifference. This is not a coincidence. It is a step in the process. Coldness is not the absence of love, it is the presence of detachment. A toxic person cannot leave you broken if you still feel warm. So, they freeze you. They become emotionally unavailable, not just to protect themselves, but to prepare you for the fall. This emotional winter teaches us an important lesson. In Shaolin, we do not run from the cold. We breathe through it. We endure the discomfort, not to escape it, but to transform through it. In the same way, You must recognize this coldness not as punishment, but as a warning. If someone suddenly feels emotionally distant, do not chase them. Sit, breathe, return to your inner fire. In time, you will see what they took away was never yours to begin with. True warmth cannot be stolen. It only radiates from within. As their interest fades, toxic people often begin to idealize others. They speak of new friends, new experiences, new possibilities. They exaggerate these people's greatness, not out of admiration, but comparison. You might hear things like, "Why can't you be more like them?" Or, "They really understand me." These words are not compliments to others. They are weapons disguised as longing. This is how a toxic person weakens your sense of value, by making you feel replaceable. In the monastery, we learn that comparison is a thief of inner peace. A master never compares the bamboo to the pine. Each grows in its own time, in its own way. But a toxic person uses comparison to control, to diminish, to confuse. Let them go where they please. If someone must elevate others to bring you down, they are already gone. You must remember who you are, without needing their validation. You are whole not in comparison to others, but in the truth of your being. Right before leaving, toxic individuals often begin to damage your reputation, especially among mutual friends or close companions. They frame your intentions as selfish. They reinterpret your kindness as weakness. This is not by accident, it is strategy. What they seek is control over the narrative. If they can discredit you, they can leave without guilt. They can break the bond without consequence. In this way, they throw dust in the eyes of others, so no one sees their true exit. In Shaolin philosophy, we say, do not concern yourself with the mud others throw. Focus on keeping your spirit clear. You do not need to respond to every false word. A tree does not bend to every wind. Your character, like the mountain, must remain unmoved. This is your moment to rise in silence. When someone speaks ill of you without truth, it reveals more about them than it ever will about you. Do not engage in the destruction of your own peace. Simply continue walking, head high, heart still. There is a strange moment right before their exit when they become unusually kind. They remember birthdays, give unexpected gifts, say things you long to hear. But understand, this kindness is not healing. It is a sedative. Toxic people offer sweetness in the final moments, not because they care, but because they want to ease their own escape. They want you to feel confused, to question your instincts, to hold on even as they pull away. In Shaolin teaching, we know not all medicine is healing. Some sweet drinks poison the body. You must learn to taste intention, not just flavor. Does their kindness bring peace or confusion? Does it uplift or distract? When someone begins acting too perfect, ask yourself, why now? The sincere do not wait until the end to show their truth. If kindness suddenly appears in a space-long cold, it is not the return of love, it is the shadow of departure. When they feel you beginning to awaken to their behavior, a toxic person often makes one last move: guilt. They say, I tried so hard, or I gave you everything. But their words are not about resolution. They are about rewriting history. This tactic is meant to make you stay in sorrow. If you believe you failed them, you will spend years trying to fix something that was never yours to fix. You will chase the past, not realizing they never walked beside you in the first place. We must remember, feeling guilt does not mean you are guilty. The heart, when kind, often takes on blame that doesn't belong to it. But this is not virtue, it is self-neglect. As the Shaolin path teaches, compassion must first begin within. When someone says, you made me leave, remember this. The mind that chooses to leave already made that choice long before the words were spoken. Your only task now is not to hold guilt, but to hold growth. And then, finally, they disappear. No explanation, no final conversation, no closure, just silence. And in that silence, the pain begins. Because what hurts most is not the ended, is the emptiness it leaves behind. Toxic people do not exit gracefully. They vanish in ways that leave wounds open. Because if they offered you closure, you might find peace. And peace is something they cannot give, you must create it for yourself. In the monastery, we are taught that closure does not come from the other. It comes from understanding, from seeing clearly. If someone left without honor, then that is all the closure you ever needed. Their absence is the answer. So sit with the silence, breathe through the emptiness. Do not chase what is already gone. Learn what it means to close the door yourself. Because in doing so, you not only end the chapter, you reclaim your power. In the end, after all the confusion, the withdrawal, the manipulation, there is only one path forward, the return to the self. You must gather the scattered pieces, not to become what you were before, but to become something wiser, stronger, clearer. Toxic people may leave you broken, but you are not the break. You are the healing. You are the breath that continues, even after the wind has gone. What was taken from you can be restored not by others, but by presence, by patience, by discipline. In Shaolin, we do not seek revenge or resentment. We seek return to balance, return to clarity, return to peace. That which was disturbed must be stilled again, not with force, but with mindfulness. This is the real training, to become unshaken. So to you who has been left wounded, do not fear the pain. It is your teacher. Let it shape you. Let it form the new armor of your spirit. And when you rise again, and you will carry not the weight of what broke you, but the wisdom of how you stood back up.